Hello, white people. Let's talk about the events that have occurred over the last few days. All right, now, if you've been living under a rock, you probably don't know that patriots or alleged patriots stormed the Capitol building on the 6th, January 6th. And at first, when I heard about that, I was pretty excited. I was, all right, that's pretty cool. But then it gets shot down because it was probably fake, and it was, something that the media created because, life is really boring. Life is extremely boring. And in order for the news to justify their existence, they have to prove to their advertisers that they can get people to watch them. So there's so much money in media, in mainstream media. And what they do is they just write the news stories. That's basically the way that works. And so turns out that these patriots, these people who are alleged patriots, it wasn't really patriots that stormed the building. I'm sure there was probably some people who were just in the crowd that went into the Capitol building. But it was staged. There's footage now of police moving barricades out of the way for people. And, even though we heard that 4 people did get shot or got shot or whatever, crisis actors. And then I guess one of them was a 14-year veteran named Ashley with an I at the end. Really? Ashley with an I? Nobody ever spells Ashley with an I. There might be some ghetto person out there, Ashley with an I. I highly doubt it. And so now we need to reflect back to, how do we know if a news story is real? Anything the news talks about is fake, something that they've created. Because if there really was people who stormed the Capitol building and Congress or the elites were really scared and they had to go into their bunkers, it would never hit mainstream media. That would be suppressed. There's a lot of people that are on edge right now, and they are ready to take down the government. People are angry. They're angry at the high taxation. They're angry at the inflation, angry that the third worlders are here. Just angry about a lot of stuff, the disintegration of our liberties. People are angry, and the elites know that the system is going to crash, and they're scared. So they create all of this chaos and confusion to make people fight amongst themselves so that they don't focus on them. And, back in, how many months ago is that? Remember when there was the Kavanaugh hearings? And, there's been people that have stormed the Capitol building many, many times, and they've been allowed to have their tantrums, and they were politely shuffled out. But now they're saying, insurrection, treason, whatever, BFD. This is all created by the media. It's not real. And what will be the result? Drum roll, please. More authoritarian safety. So we can no longer live our dangerous liberty. We are being forced into authoritarian safety. Why? Because there's so many people out there that are afraid. In the Bible, it mentions, 300 times, don't be afraid. Jesus and his people were talking about Jesus. Jesus always said, don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be afraid, fear ye not, something like that. Don't be afraid. You don't make good decisions when you're scared. And when you're scared and you feel helpless, and the first person to reach out and help you is not going to be the person that really wants to help you. They're probably going to eat you. What was it? In the barn, when the cow goes potty and the bird falls in, and the cat gets the bird out of the potty. So who's the one that's in the wrong there? Who's causing you the most problems? The cow that went to the bathroom and you fell in it, or the cat that rescued you from the potty that you fell in? So that's how that works. And then I'm going to move on and talk about the one world order, because this is all reliant on the one world order. We are in the one world order. There is no one world order is coming. We are in it. I mean, if the global lockdowns weren't evidence of the one world order, I don't even know what to say to anybody anymore if they can't see that we're already in the middle of the one world order. So the one world order basically is that people are dependent on the government, on the elites, on the rulers for their survival, or at least they think that they're dependent on them. And, you know, some people are dependent and some people aren't. So the thing here is that this one world order, this dependency on the government, on the figureheads, it's not sustainable. It's not going to last. And it's crashing and it's coming to an end. And so 2020 was a year where we had the shock of our lives. A lot of the hidden agendas were brought forth, and we were able to see what's really been going on behind the curtain. And now that the curtain's pulled back, we can see, we can see better. And now we're going into 2021, and the system will continue to crash. And people who are dependent on the machine probably won't survive. You know, right when we had the beginning of this pandemic, and governments freaked out and closed down their borders, and they locked in people who were not citizens, people who were workers who couldn't go to work because industry was shut down, people who couldn't go home because borders were shut down, people who couldn't stay in temporary housing because they had no money, because they couldn't work, and then they couldn't eat, and then they started causing riots. You know, a lot of this has been suppressed, but this is something that I talked about early on when the pandemic first started. These are the people that are the biggest victims of the crash of the New World Order coming to an end. The people who are the most dependent on the system, on the machine, are the ones who are not going to survive. It's an unfortunate reality. And I don't know. I just, it's just heart-wrenching. You know, these people who live in third world countries, they have this utopian ideal or this idea or whatever that they can come to America or they can come to the West and everything will be wonderful. There's a cartoon called An American Tail. Do you guys ever see that movie? And in An American Tail, Fievel's a mouse, and he's in Russia, and and all the little mice and whatever, they all get together and they sing, "There are no cats in America, and the streets are made of cheese." And then they get to America and they find out it's actually much worse than they thought. So anyway, so the thing is that people who are most dependent on the system, people who are not able to be self-reliant, people who do not have connections, these are the people who are going to be hurt the most. It's very sad. Oh my gosh, it's so heartbreaking. You know, I don't like foreigners in my country. But these foreigners a lot of foreigners who've come to this country have been allowed to set up systems. So will they survive? I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work for them. And then Americans have been convinced that they can be part of the just-in-time system, where they can get all the things necessary just, by hitting a couple buttons on the computer, and everything will be fine. But that's all coming to an end. The New World Order is crashing. The value of our currency, because our currency is reliant on oil, well, there's always somebody who's going to take from you what you've earned. And if you don't work hard to protect it, it's going to get taken from you. Oh, let's see here now. What am I going to talk about? Oh, something, one last thing that I'm going to talk about is that given all the hysteria that's happened over the last few days, Congress is going to pass some new legislation that will take our liberties away from us. They will continue to take our liberties away from us, and they will continue to make people mad. I think that the elites are scared that this New World Order is crashing because they like it that they have a lot of power, and they like it when people are dependent, and they like it when people suffer. All right, white people, that's the damage for now. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to your thoughts below.